This week's question is asked by Sparkle Sprinkles. She says, what is your favorite movie? I have a lot. Hello and welcome to Out of the Question, the family-friendly video series where I ask you, the viewers, questions, and you, the viewers, ask me questions too. This episode's gonna be rushed because I recorded it and it ended up being 40 minutes long, so I'm re-recording it, and hopefully I can make it a lot shorter. We're gonna get right into it now, okay? Starting off, we're gonna do Mary Poppins, a wonderful and delightful Disney film that is absolutely a classic and absolutely probably one of my favorites, if not my favorite Disney film of all time. Did you know that Julie Andrews was actually not going to be Mary Poppins for this film? She was going to go play Eliza Doolittle from My Fair Lady, but she ended up getting pregnant, and so the guy was like, oh, we're not going to wait for you, we're just going to cast this other lady over here who was Audrey Hepburn. By the way, she did an amazing job. So Walt Disney came up to Julie Andrews and was like, hey, can we get you to play Mary Poppins? And she's like, well, I'm pregnant, and he's like, okay, we'll wait. And so he waited until pregnancy was over and she got back into acting shape and then made this absolutely amazing movie. Just, thank you, Walt Disney. Whew. Okay, moving on to the next film. Fun and Fancy Free. This is like another one of my favorite Disney films, because this is my favorite Disney film. Fun and Fancy Free was actually a combination of 3 small projects that were not going to be able to go to fruition if not being combined to make one feature-length film that they could play in theaters. Fun little fact. As you can see, it stars Mickey, Donald, and Goofy playing Jack and the Beanstalk. It also has 2 other shorts. One is Bongo, and the other is really just what happens in between those scenes with Jiminy Cricket kind of going over a bunch of different places. It is from Walt Disney's probably more like golden age of movies. I don't know what age of Disney movies we would be in now. Maybe bronze? I don't know. It's not very clear. Following a fun and fancy-free style of film, we have, I'm going to do a Holiday Inn first, we have Bing Crosby and Fred Astaire in one of their only 2 film appearances. The only other movie that they ever made together was Blue Skies, and it is another great film which has somewhat of a similar plot line, actually, now that I think about it, which is weird. This film really stood out to me because, 1, Bing Crosby with the amazing voice, and then 2, Fred Astaire with the amazing dance in a movie together, written entirely with Irving Berlin's songs, because Irving Berlin was kind of a weird guy who wouldn't let any other songs except for his own in a movie. Don't know why, but, you know, that's what it is. This movie is one of the ones that really, really made me love Fred Astaire and Bing Crosby and want to, like, try and watch all of their films and make me want to sing and dance and do all the little pizzazz stuff on the stage. But, did you know that this is the very first film that White Christmas was sung on? Yeah, White Christmas did not appear in the movie White Christmas originally. It appeared right here, sung by Bing Crosby in an amazing rendition. If you've never seen this movie, watch it. Fall in love with it. It's one of the ones that I always introduce to people whenever I'm trying to get them into the classic movie realm. And everybody loves it. I've not met anybody who does not love it to some extent. 7 Brides for 7 Brothers! It is starring Howard Keel and Jane Powell in the leading roles. The movie is about Adam Pontelby, that's Howard Keel's character, going out and finding himself a little lady friend with a song that would probably nowadays be considered very sexist, along with another song from this film that would also probably be very sexist. You know, thinking about it, this film would probably not go over very well with modern audiences, although I think it has a very good, strong woman vibe, but also a very strong, like, family and, you know, man in man position and woman in woman position thing. So I think it's actually a pretty good film about love and marriage and having a really crazy and fun family, kind of like my own. Not quite like my own, but, you know, it's good. Check it out. Another one that I always show to people, have yet to see one person dislike it, and I highly love it. If I can find these on Amazon, I'm just gonna link them in the description so you can go and watch them. Would that be a weird thing to do? I don't know. Maybe I'll open an Amazon affiliate link so I'll make money off you go and watch those videos. I should really do that now that I'm thinking about that. But anyways, let's keep going. Some more modern type films that I absolutely love and will probably never not love. Again, another musical. I really like musicals now that I think about it. Well, I mean, I knew that a long time ago, but I didn't realize how many of them made it into my favorite films of all time. And August Rush is another one! Jonathan Rhys-Meyers with Kerry Russell and Frederick Highmore with Robin Williams in a role that he is not typically very much in, with Terrence Howard, the original, War Machine, who played the original War Machine in the very first Iron Man film, fun fact. But it is an absolutely beautiful film with absolutely beautiful music. If the composer for this film has not won any awards, he needs to, because he deserves, like, all of them. Oh, and fun fact, it also has Leon Thomas III. He was the black guy with the piano in Victoria's that always playing the tunes. He plays the guitar in here and has an amazing singing voice, along with another girl who I think was only ever featured in this film, who has an extremely powerful voice. Like, my goodness. She was basically Jackie Evancho before Jackie Evancho at that age, if you know who Jackie Evancho is. Going off the hype train of all of the Marvel films that are going on, Tobey Maguire is the best Peter Parker and Spider-Man. I don't care who hates me for stating that. I think most people would agree with me. Did you know this is the highest rated Spider-Man film? I absolutely love that fact, because this is like, just someone that say, you like Marvel? I'm like, I like Spider-Man. And then I had to explain which one. Because it had an amazing cast. Aunt May was amazing. The guy who played Doc Ock was amazing. Tobey Maguire as Peter Parker, amazing. I actually am a pretty big fan of Tobey Maguire as an actor, even though he's not in a ton. And I've only seen him in probably like 3 films, now that I think about it. But he's amazing. And then you also have the guy who plays J. Jonah Jameson, who is also, another fun fact, in Portal 2, playing, whoever founded Aperture Science Laboratories, he does the voice for that. He was also in La La Land and Whiplash, which are both films directed by whatever his name is that directed La La Land. Wow, I have so much information in me I didn't even realize I had. But this is the most amazing Spider-Man and the most spectacular Spider-Man film that there is out there. Check it out. It's amazing! Ah, love it, love it, love it! Okay, gotta keep moving. If you've never heard of Studio Ghibli, if you've never seen a Studio Ghibli film, I would suggest starting with this one. I do know that My Neighbor Totoro and Spirited Away are by far more famous ones, but after watching a third of all of Studio Ghibli's films, this one did it for me. The soundtrack by Joe Hisaishi, I'm pretty sure that's how you say his name, absolutely beautiful. The song, The Girl Who Fell from the Sky, oh my goodness, the first time I watched this movie, I heard that song, I was like, getting it now. But this film follows Pazu and Sheeta, she's played by Anna Paquin, and he is played by James Vanderbeek. Oh, the main villain is actually voiced by Mark Hamill. Pretty cool stuff, right? All I can say is that Studio Ghibli is basically the Disney of Japan. It's even brought over and paid for by Disney to get the voice actors and everything, and it is absolutely adorable. I love it from start to finish. We are getting close to the end. City Lights. I'm sure that everybody knows that I absolutely love Frank Capra, which I have his autobiography right here, and Charles Chaplin, who I have his autobiography downstairs. I've already finished Frank Capra's autobiography, working on Charlie Chaplin's autobiography. But one of my absolute favorite Charles Chaplin films is City Lights. I bought City Lights because I was looking for a new Charles Chaplin film to watch, and I already wanted to collect it. Also, it's a Criterion collection, so it's very special to me. This is basically the premise of all of his films, except for Limelight, which I'm going to talk about in a second. Boy meets girl, boy loses girl, boy gets girl back, in typical Chaplin style. Continuing on, I'm going to talk about Boys Town, starring Spencer Tracy and Mickey Rooney. It is a semi-autobiographical film about Father Flanagan, who decides to make a town for lost boys. Think of him as the Peter Pan of this world. They make a full-on town, originally starting with just one single house, with the objective of finding boys who are hungry and making them full, of finding boys who are broken and bringing them back together, and of finding boys who are bad and making them good. So skipping ahead a little bit of time like the movie does, Whitey Marsh, Mickey Rooney's character, comes to Boys Town, a little bit against his own will, but you know, Father Flanagan's here and he wants to help every boy become good. But Whitey Marsh has different plans for his life than Father Flanagan and all the boys of Boys Town, and that's where a lot of the tension comes from. So I highly suggest this film. It's one of my tops. You can't take it with you. A Frank Capra film starring Jimmy Stewart Jean Arthur, Lionel Barrymore, and Edward Arnold. Jean Arthur's family and Jimmy Stewart's family are not of the same stock whatsoever. Jean Arthur's family is kind of like our own, very odd and bizarre, but they all get along just splendidly. A lot of the tension in the film comes from Jimmy Stewart and Jean Arthur being in love and kind of trying to hide it from Jimmy Stewart's family. It's such a hard movie to describe. It originally started out as a stage play, and then Frank Capra was like, I love this stage play, I want to buy it and then make it better for film. And then he did. Like anything Frank Capra touches turns to gold. Just like Lost Horizon, this book right here, Frank Capra read the book, was like, hey, this is really good, but I want to make it into a film. And in my opinion, the film is way better than the book. Although the book is still definitely worth watching. But the film is called Lost Horizon as well, and it was really, really well done. Okay? So we're going to put that one away and talk about the next film, which is Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. It is a Frank Capra film starring Jimmy Stewart and Jean Arthur and Edward Arnold. But this film is about Jimmy Stewart, who is kind of forced into being a senator. He is totally taken back. He doesn't know at all what he's supposed to be doing. And then he's just like, you know what? No, I'm here. People elected me to this office. I'm going to take it and I am going to do good. So he decides that he is going to get a bill passed to create a camp for people to go to at Mount Vernon where they can see the amazing heritage that they have in America. And he's getting help from Jean Arthur's character right here to help write the bill. But there's only one problem. See, Edward Arnold's character, he has something that he's trying to push through that would interrupt with Jimmy Stewart's stuff, and so he's gotta shut that down. So that's where most of the tension comes from. But it is an amazing patriotic film. If you want a film where you're like, America! There you go, this film right here. Go check it, watch it. It's also a beautiful, beautiful case. Although, both of these have the stuff coming off of them, which makes me very, very sad. I don't have a special way of storing them to make them retain their beautifulness. Yeah. We're down to the last two films! Two. Charles Chaplin's Limelight and Frank Capra's It's a Wonderful Life. We're gonna talk about Limelight first. So, Limelight stars Charles Chaplin, was written and directed by Charles Chaplin, and honestly is the very first film I ever saw of Charlie Chaplin's. I don't really know which one. It says Charles Chaplin right here. We'll go with that. After just having explored into Charles Chaplin's history, whenever you watch this film, you start to realize that he literally made a film basically as an autobiography, and so it is extremely, extremely deep emotionally. If you don't want to read about his history but kind of want to know everything you really need to know about the guy, check out Limelight. I cannot recommend this film enough. I will absolutely link up a way that you can watch that film. Okay, moving into the last film. This is my absolute favorite film. Like, Limelight's here, this movie's here. And people are gonna be like, are you serious? That one? And I'm like, yes, because you cannot tell me that there is a better film ever created, okay? And that film is It's a Wonderful Life. It is directed by Frank Capra, starring Jimmy Stewart and Lionel Barrymore. It is also starring Donna Reed, who did an amazing job in this film. But this film, the best way I can think to describe it is a reverse Christmas Carol. So instead of a person being told why he's a bad person and why life would be better without him, instead, Jimmy Stewart's character, he's ready to commit suicide. And then this little guy, Clarence, right here, an angel, second class, still trying to get his wings. He's tasked with going and seeing Jimmy Stewart's character, and Clarence shows George Bailey what life would be like without him. And I love the concept. 2, it's pulled off amazingly. 3, it's just the best film ever. 4, the film has one of my favorite quotes ever, even though it's never actually said. It's on a picture on the wall. The quote says, "The only thing you take with you is that which you've given away," which I think is an extremely true statement, especially for like Christians, because what do we believe? Like, you give something away, you're gonna be rewarded, like, what, 1,000 times over in heaven? Like, I don't know, I just feel like that's a really true statement. And, funny thing about this film is that even though it won, like, every award for picture of that year, it actually flopped whenever it first released. And then, to make it even worse, the film had a clerical error, so it became public domain almost immediately after it came out. Every station broadcasted it during Christmas, and everybody was like, whoa, this film's like actually really good. But it's like the quintessential Christmas film. It is my absolute favorite film of all time. It's like family values, just understanding the importance and impact that you make, even whenever you don't think you really matter. I cannot over recommend this. If you've never seen this movie before, maybe I'll like Twitch stream me watching this film during Christmas. You know, like whenever something's like your absolute favorite and you love it so much that you can't really say anything about it because you love it so much, that's me in It's a Wonderful Life. I wish I could say so much more about it, but I just can't. So please just go check it out for yourself. You will not be disappointed at all. And that is all of my favorite films. What are your favorite films and why? Please, I would love to hear this. I'm super passionate about films. Just let me know in the comments below or at ootqcontact@gmail.com. And you know what? If you want to see your answer in next week's episode, hit that subscribe button and that little bell icon so that you never have to miss a thing. And this video is very long, so I'm actually going to have to separate this week's question, or last week's answers for last week's question, into a separate video, so I hope everybody is okay with that, and maybe if you like the format, I will keep that up, because then it would allow me to post 2 videos on different days, and I'd be able to spend more time on each, which I think a lot of people might like once I do it, but I don't know, I'll have to do that first. Thank you guys so much for watching. Check out these, and hit my face if you want to subscribe. Check it out. Watch It's a Wonderful Life. It's really good. And all the other films that I suggested, and maybe some of my videos. Because I could use the support. Thanks. You guys are awesome. Bye.